Chairman Wright,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Here.
Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap,
Yes.
sorry, Commissioner Caldwell, he's absent. Commissioner Medina Hernandez is absent. And I'm waiting for the new commissioner, Blevins. Mr.
This is
Blevins?
Dave Blevins. I have signed in.
Great, Mr. Blevins. Thank you so much and welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We've been waiting on you. Sorry it's taken so long. There were some logistical mistakes over last. Anyway, we worked it out. You're on board, and we'll go through that pomp and circumstance in a second. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Great. Right. Here. Sorry, guys.
Can the chairman introduce Mr. Blevin, please?
We will, and we will,
Oh,
and
okay.
after we go through the notice of meeting.
Oh,
That. At this time, we'll be reading the notice. This meeting of the Board of Commissioners will take place electronically in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, specifically NJSA 10:4-9.3. Notice of this meeting was given by one public advertisement with sufficient notice herewith to the Home News Tribune, 2, filing an advance written notice of this meeting with the City Clerk's office, and 3, posting this notice on the public website of the Housing Authority. During the meeting, participants, including members of the public, may be muted by the host. However, there will be an opportunity for them to participate and speak during the public portion of the meeting, where participants will be unmuted at their request. At this time, pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, except for Mr. Blevins, well, we're not going to talk about those. We can go to consideration of previous minutes. That doesn't involve Mr. Blevins at this time. So if I can get a motion in a second, or any questions.
I think I wanted to introduce Mr. Blevins to the rest of the commission formally before we kicked things off and began voting. So we did take on a new commissioner. I don't know if he'd want to say anything specific to the rest of the group before we get to the business.
I did. He would not be allowed to vote on this particular consideration of meetings.
Okay.
But we can move on if you choose. I think it would be easier if we just get that out of the way now, while with the current members who had an opportunity to review those minutes from the previous meeting, which he was not part of, and then we can move to Alberto, and I will formally introduce Mr. Blevins.
Perfect. All right. So I motion on the previous minutes.
Great.
Move.
Moved by Dunlap. Roll call. Chairman Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Walde.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Let the record reflect motion passes with the absence of Caldwell Medina Hernandez. At this time, Alberto, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so Mr. Blevins, welcome to the Board of Commissioners. We're happy to have you on. As part of your introduction here, we do need you to fulfill the oath of office. So if you could just raise your right hand, I'll take your word for it since you're not on video, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, David Blevins,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same and to the governments established
to the same and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state,
in the United States and in this state of New Jersey,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially,
and I will faithfully and impartially
and justly perform all the duties
and justly perform all of the duties
of Commissioner of the Housing Authority of the City of New Brunswick,
of the Commissioner of the Housing Authority of the City of New Brunswick,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations, Commissioner, and welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. Happy
Welcome
to
aboard
be a
then.
part of the organization.
Great. Congratulations.
All right.
Chair, at this time, my report, we're going to save the public comments right before NBHA's first resolution.
Right.
And under informational item, we already took care of Commissioner Blevins. Update on 100 Jersey Ave and any other assigned redevelopment properties that we have effectuated. I was able to provide the commissioners with an update on all 6 pending redevelopment projects that you guys saw. We've gone over this. We are to be taken seriously as an authority, as the redevelopment authority as well. And I think that Mr. Hoffman has led us in the proper path. And at this time, any of the commissioners have any questions regarding the 6 redevelopment projects? We also have Councilman Ferguson, who's a liaison between our authority and the city council in the city of New Brunswick. So if he feels that he wants to add or has any concerns, this is his forum to go ahead and express that. So Chair, at this time, I'll start with you and we can go from there.
Okay. So I read through Mr. Hoffman's account of our position, and I'm in agreement with his course of action where it recommends that we exercise our 90-day right after sending a letter where a letter is appropriate. So what I would want to do, and I open to the rest of the commissioners, is to execute that letter to the developers with the window of time for them to respond. It's tight. This isn't about extending this forever, maybe a week or so, and then move on that 90-day in all of those instances where it's recommended by council, by council.
So are you proposing a letter that we would have to get an answer within 10 days? And
Correct.
depending on what their answer is, if they answer at all, we will move on the 11th day with the stricter opportunity we may have to de-designate someone.
Right. And their response to the letter, in my feeling, does not mean that we're not going to move.
Right.
Right. It's more of an opportunity to provide that bit of information that may account for why the dates that were put in place as target dates, with the ones that weren't hit. That still doesn't mean that we're not going to pull. And as a redevelopment authority, I think we have a responsibility to do so because we can't leave these sorts of any type of hazard in the community or anything like that. So I'm in full agreement with council, and I appreciate the directive on that. And that's all I have to say. If there are any other commissioners or even our liaison, Mr. Ferguson, that wants to weigh in on this.
I have one question.
Okay.
Commissioner Walde?
Yeah, I saw, I reviewed it. Some of them are like 5 years old. One is 2022, another one 2021. And then the church group on George Street, they're in litigation. How are we dealing with all those projects like that? I mean, they're already in trouble.
So the short answer is Mr. Hoffman provided us with a summary of what our options are at the end of each of the particular redevelopment projects.
Mhm.
Though certain developers may not have been following the agreement that they signed on board with. We still have an obligation legally to follow the contract or agreement with them. And that's where the 10-day notice or 90-day notice thereafter before we can take any action. Even though some of these developers may be in foreclosure, they may have other options. We still have to follow that agreement to a T. Legal counsel's here, even though it's not Mr. Hoffman, and he provided us with a guideline, but legal counsel will also echo that, I believe, Alberto, correct?
Yeah, no, absolutely. In any of these agreements, we would certainly want to follow the letter of the agreement. So regardless of the time frame, as far as how far they're out, we would still want to be able to provide that notice so the record is clear with regard to the housing authority's position.
I just added the units. It came out like 22,240 units. Do you think any one of them are affordable units? I mean,
Well,
is there any
hold on.
set
I want to
aside?
wait. I want to weigh on this specifically. So 100 Jersey Ave, we're aware that there was an affordable component to that, and that's spelled out inside of the literature that we have and the documentation that we have. That's not what we're weighing on right now, though it is important.
No, I know. I'm just
No, but I also don't want to hold up the business that we do have to get to, but it is a very important thing. And it's the reason that, in my opinion, we move on this 90 days because, again, we have a responsibility to the affordable community to make sure that these projects get done. So what we're determining right now is the action that we take at the recommendation of council. So I want to keep that on track.
all right.
Yeah, I'm aligned with that approach, and I think council would be aligned with that approach, especially the 2011, not 2021, 2022 dates. I mean, those are some low-hanging fruit. Pending litigation is something that we're going to have to take under advisement. Obviously, those that could run its course a long time. So I would be more inclined to get some more information on those rather than act. But I think some of those on that list, definitely we need at minimum an update. And if they are if there's additional information, then we could y'all could take that under advisement. But if there's not additional info, then obviously we can begin those other processes. So thank you for the input.
Perfect.
And the only thing I will add for commissioners who are concerned is if, as Councilman Ferguson highlighted about litigation, that's a way out, or at least provides them with some additional time before they can construct, because litigation has taken a foot. So we have to deal with that. That is also in the agreement. Not that we necessarily give them a pass, but it is a pass. And we have to deal with that. And that is probably one of the exceptions in a rule. So we'll go from there. Any other questions from the commissioners on that topic? I'll leave this to the end for anybody from the public who has a comment about it, but not at this time. Okay. Penrose, the Hildebrand Commons, it's the old senior site down on Nielsen Street. They were supposed to close. They have an issue internally. They're resolving with permits. The investors and HMFA from the state requires a process where they have permit ready application with the city for that construction of the senior building. So we are waiting diligently and patiently, more or less than diligently, that we're going to have that soon. So we can set the closing within a couple weeks after they get that from the city. It's out of our hands. We've done our part. They've satisfied the elements with us. And I see that happening before the next board meeting. That's the update there. A digital divide, we're going to save that for the next board meeting. I think you guys will be happy with the progress there. And I'm going to leave this to the chair with the redevelopment of Schwartz Homes in Robeson Village. I'll put him on. I know there's an update in regards to that, and the attendants are waiting patiently, and we are. I mean, we've been waiting for a while, but I think it's good that we have this discussion now, and Chairman Wright will give us an update. Thank you.
Okay. So regarding the Schwartz-Robeson project, which was presented to us at the last meeting, we were seeing the potential massing for that site, showing us it is quite possible financially and physically to build out 2,000 units. It makes sense at 2,000. It makes sense at 1,000. That really just gives us what our upper limit of what can happen is. But with a project of that scale, there are going to be a lot of interested parties who want to be able to provide services and things. And so as a result of all of the momentum, forward momentum that we have now with having figured out how to finance it and how to figure out how to make it happen, I do want to form a formal committee around that particular project so that we can take this forward. It's a thing that's going to probably outlive myself or even Mr. Toto as executive director. Maybe not. But I want to make sure that we have a specific set of eyes on this with continuity of information. So that's going to be formed. Feel free to reach out to me specifically and volunteer for it. But I'm going to ask everybody who has any interest in it, because it's more or less go time. We're coming right up around being able to develop an RFP for developers and get some real submissions on the site.
And one thing I'd like to add, Chair, if I may, we may or may not be the developers on that in-house. And I think I have a board that's pretty sharp. You guys have been around this a long time. You've seen a lot of developments come. And if we can keep more money and be more sustainable for years to come and keep providing local people with jobs, I think that would be great if we're able to handle that, and we'd have to go outside. But that's what the committee's recommendation is looking at. You know, I'm looking for that recommendation. Obviously, it's more work on our staff, but if it can be done right, we bring in the proper project manager and RFP out the rest, that would be phenomenal. And we would have the best interest of our tenants front and center. They could hold us accountable instead of some high-level developer where they wouldn't even know the phone number or two. So it's just something to think about, and we'll go from there.
That's definitely a good point. I didn't want to get too in the weeds to it, but it's really a huge opportunity for us as an organization to develop a serious revenue stream that will allow us to take excellent care of our existing and oncoming affordable residents, and it really shape the community for people who are losing access to it. So yeah, a lot of moving parts, but also very good for us because we're in the best position to take care of these types of folks and these types of developments. So more to come, to your point, Mr. Toto.
And as you said, as far as a volunteer to be on this committee, it does not necessarily have to be housing authority commissioners that are already have been with us for a while, but you guys are more than welcome. Obviously, we want you guys on board, but there are some sharp people out in the community too that could really benefit and help us. So Matt, we'd lean on you, Matt, and Councilman Ferguson, and anyone you have, just send them over to Zach. Appreciate it. Okay.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
This committee that Zach wants to start up, that we do, if we have too many commissioners on it, is that a problem?
Yeah, I think
With
in that
meetings
instance
and stuff like that. So there has to be maybe like two, if commissioners want to get on and volunteer, maybe one or two commissioners, and to oversee, or not oversee, but to see,
Yeah, it's a good point, Commissioner. Yeah, you want to have less than 4. You want to have less than a quorum on the committee, just so that you're not seen as having any sort of public meeting in any meetings that you have. So, yeah, good point.
Great. Okay. At this time, I'm going to open up for public comment. Anyone from the public like to say anything now? Take your turn.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Yes.
Hey, Charlie.
Good evening. Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick, editor of New Brunswick Today. I'll start by welcoming the new board member, Mr. Blevins. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight on this virtual call, and welcome to the board. I also wanted to praise the authority for looking to hold developers accountable. So, it's my understanding that there'll be some actions taken based on this memo that the Willentz firm has prepared, and I'll look forward to learning more about which projects are delinquent and how the authority wants to proceed in cases where the developer's not keeping up their end of the bargain. I also appreciate the update on the Schwartz-Robeson project, and wanted to say that I haven't forgotten Commissioner Wright's offer to meet for lunch, and I'll follow up on that and look forward to learning more about the project. But I did learn a little bit more tonight. I'm pleased by what I hear. I think that the authority is starting to meet the moment in terms of modernizing its operation, and certainly starting to meet the need for affordable housing in the city. Just one note on the potential for creating a committee. I wanted to establish that, yes, you could create the committee in a way where you never have a quorum of housing authority commissioners present discussing business at the same meeting. And then you wouldn't have to allow the public to witness or notice the meetings. You wouldn't have to advertise the meetings to the public, but you could, regardless of how many commissioners you're going to have on this committee, decide that this is so important that you want the meetings to be public, that you want to notice the meetings, that you want to have public attendance and perhaps even public participation in those committee meetings. So I just wanted to put that out there, that you do have options and you don't have to by default make it a committee that meets privately and doesn't have a public component to it. I think for this kind of thing, it might make more sense to have those meetings be noticed public meetings, and then you would not have to avoid having that quorum of commissioners. And I just wanted you to take that suggestion. And finally, I did want to ask about an item on your agenda. If you could just tell me about the AMA consulting contract. What is this firm going to be doing for the authority, and how were they selected?
Well, I can tell you, Charlie, AMA is here tonight. You're going to hear a presentation from them because there was a question raised. So he wanted to be on board. He's here. I will let him tell you everything. But every housing authority that I know of, that I've run into from any of the trainings I've gone to or personally in New Jersey, they all have a consultant. We had a consultant last year. Didn't use up much of the budget that he signed on board for. This particular individual has some serious stake in the game. They represent a lot of housing authorities around the country. They're really good. I vetted them out pretty good. I put out an RFP. They responded. The person from last year did not respond. As you well know, they serve a lot of purposes, having a consultant on board. They help navigate through the HUD demands and what they ask of, and I was really confident, and that's why I put out the RFP. They responded, and he's here tonight, and he'll share with you his credentials, and we'll even give you a minute to question him if you want to, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, thank you.
As far as Charlie, your input about committees and forming and so on, I'm a little different. I think I was pretty clear in my process when I was hired that this is my number one goal, to bring new housing for a number of reasons. And not one out of a fluff purpose that we want people of low income means in some Waldorf Astoria type of housing, but it has to be better than they have today. And I'm not wasting any time. And if the board wants me to waste time, I'm not here for that. I'm not here for you or anybody else. I know what's wrong. I have to deal with it every day. I see the awful conditions some people live in. This is old housing stock. I fought HUD forever on the REACT examinations they came out and dragged us over the coals on, and always had bad findings. So we went national with that, and my predecessor and I, we would hammer them every time we would go. It was just not right. You can't use 50s and 60s housing stock and judge it in today's measuring standards, and that's what was wrong. So last year they were fair. We scored an 84. Still didn't mean that we don't need new housing stock. When you see the amount of monies that we spend in the millions for utilities, because it's not cost effective anymore, it's not green efficient, right? And you look at the number of the money we spend on repairing these units and the contractors we bring in here, we're wasting money. We're wasting time even talking about this. Let's get this ball rolling. Let's make it happen. I'm happy that I have a chairman and a board that identifies that. And I've told them all the numbers. Um, we're wasting time here. So we've spent billions of dollars in the city of New Brunswick. That's great. We're going to do something here for the residents that deserve it and the future residents. It's never going to stop. We all know about the housing crisis. So let's be cognizant of taxpayer money, and it's smarter to go ahead and build. We'll save so much more money over a 30-year or 45-year mortgage, and let's do it right. Let's give the people something that they deserve, and I stand firm with that. So if somebody or the board doesn't feel that way, well, I could be shown the door. But we'll go from it, and thank you for that. But I just think too many committees, too big, it just deadens it. Now another month goes by, another summer goes by, more bills come. So, you know, we'll take our lumps. Somebody doesn't think we're transparent. I think the board they have a vested interest here. They live here. These guys are here. So I just
And I
wanted to
think
share that with you.
And I think even Charlie was part of the meeting that we kicked off with our community, and we 120, 130 people come out. So we have every intention of involving folks.
Right.
Maybe not on the color of the steps or the height of the grass, but on the big decisions that are going to ultimately affect the community.
Great.
Great. Well,
Right.
yeah, thanks for that. And I'll watch for the presentation. I may or may not be able to ask additional questions afterwards, but I appreciate the offer.
I told you we'll give you a minute. It'll be all right.
Yeah, I may be unavailable. I'm doing double duty. I'm at the Linden Housing Authority tonight. And
You know what they say, you snooze, you lose. We're coming back later. Maybe another day.
All right.
well, thanks for hearing me out. Have a good one.
All right.
You too.
Great. Okay, we're going to close public comment unless there's anyone else out there. Anyone else? Not commissioners, just the public.
Seeing
All
none.
right. We're going to close it. All right, let me just go through this so I'm not illegally closing the meeting. Motion and a second, please. Public comment.
I motion to close public comment.
Motion, second.
I'll second.
Giorgiani beat everybody. Okay, roll call. Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Yes.
Let the record reflect, motion passes to absent Caldwell Medina Hernandez. Thank you. At this time, unfinished business, we already gave the update on the current redevelopment projects that were going on and what the condition is there and how we're going to move. Any other unfinished business? Right? Legal counsel, anything that I forgot? All
No,
right.
not that I'm aware.
Chair, board? Nope. All right. Let's get into the resolutions. NBHA resolution number 8, resolution to authorize and approve annual auditing service contracts to GM Polo and Associates at an hourly rate of $225 for principals, $150 an hour for managers, not to exceed $17,570. If this was approved at it was a walk-up previous board meeting that we had on 2/26. It came up from the floor, so I just wanted to make it official. So I added it here. I didn't like anytime we walk something up, I'd always like to come back to the next meeting and put it on that agenda, and that's what I did here in Resolution 8. So, except for Mr. Blevins, who cannot vote on that, I'll need a motion in a second unless you have any questions.
Seeing none.
Okay, well, before we move to a motion in a second, let me add, there were no findings at the authority. We were solid, they came through. They did a great job. My fiscal controller, Tony Musi, was there. He's here this evening. And they spent most of the day here going through 40 files. And I found it pretty impressive that even though we're short-staffed, that they did a really, really good job. So that's all I wanted to say. So anything else? I'll need a motion in a second.
Second.
So Chairman Wright motion, Mr.
A
Dunlap
motion.
second. Roll call. Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Motion passes with the abstention of Caldwell Medina Hernandez. And also I'll be sending out that report that just came on my desk today, big FedEx package. I'm sure they spent a lot of money to go ahead and send that out. So I want all the commissioners to have that. NBHA resolution number 9, resolution approving authorizing and ratifying payment of bills for February 2025. Mr. Blevins can vote on the remaining items. I'll need a motion and a second on that.
Make a
Motion.
motion to accept.
I'll second.
Any motion, second by Wright. Roll call, Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Yes.
Let the record reflect, motion passes with the abstention of Caldwell and Medina Hernandez. NBHA resolution number 10, resolution to authorize and approve McKernan Architectural and Engineering Services at an hourly rate of $45 an hour for administrative, $195 for principal architects, $160 for principal engineer, and $275 an hour for senior principals not to exceed $60,000. They've been with us a while. They were the only ones who turned in an RFP for this particular resolution. You just need a motion in a second. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go
We have a
ahead.
question on the floor.
Sorry.
Commissioner Walde.
Yeah, I know they gave us so many documents, the architectural firm. Is 60,000 sufficient? I mean, the way I look at the documents, I mean, it's piles of documents.
It is. We don't really use them a lot. There's always residual money left from the year before that they don't cash out on. They do help us with some of the RFPs and the technical areas of construction. They're a good sounding board to call up, like anything else. They're pretty thorough. And yes, we don't, it's not something that overlaps. I think we've done a pretty good job never having to come back to the board and asking for more money or time extension and so on. So I think so. And considering they had a former relationship with us, and considering that they were the only bidders, it's prudent to go ahead and approve it.
Yeah. No, when I looked at the documents, they gave us so many documents. I was scared 60,000 wouldn't be sufficient. That's why.
The documents
Okay.
were
Yeah,
fearing
I mean,
us,
it's
yeah.
like the Bible, about 5 of them. But
Yeah. Mr. Dunlap?
No, I had to laugh. He says like the Bible, so I laughed.
Like the Bible, a lot of parts you like.
as big, I meant.
Okay, I'll need a motion in a second if there are no other questions.
I motion.
Second.
Go ahead.
Who second?
Dunlap.
Okay, Dunlap second. Beat you again. Roll call. Chairman Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Walde.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Abstain since I'm new.
Okay. Sure. That's smart. All right. Motion, let the record reflect, motion passes. 2 absences, Caldwell and Medina Hernandez. Next resolution, BHA resolution number 11, resolution to authorize and approve Walentz Law Firm redevelopment legal services not to exceed an average hourly rate of $300 for litigation and complex legal services at $300 for all other services. Paralegal services are billed at $110 an hour.
Just one question on that. I didn't see not to exceed on that. I mean, they had not to exceed on every one of them except that one. Why is that?
Because that's pretty good. It's very observant. Because we don't really pay them. You don't know what it could exceed. They're the redevelopment council that is paid through an escrow account. We cut them a check, but it's not anything that we're on the hook for legally. They get their money through, sometimes I don't pay them because there's no money in the escrow. Then they have to go back to the developer and pony up some more money. So that's why.
But do we have any upper limit though?
Mr. Camacho, if you want to add anything in there, if my position is incorrect, please correct me.
No, I mean, it's not, again, it's a separate, obviously that's done by the Housing Authority in its capacity as the redevelopment authority to bring them on. there is, you have your hourly rates in there. Yeah, I guess your question, Commissioner, would be whether or not there's a budgetary line item, I guess, for their services.
Yeah.
I don't know, but from a standpoint of, since it is paid out of the developer only escrow account, that's what, as the executive directors indicated. So.
Okay. So they get paid by the housing authority if they represent us. That's what you're saying, right? That's what we're saying.
Paid by the developer.
Paid by
Well, yeah,
developer.
they get paid by the housing authority in as far as getting a check cut. But they're getting paid by the developers. The developers are the ones who are providing funds that end up paying your council.
So we are a pass through, basically.
Essentially, yes,
Yeah,
essentially.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions on this resolution? Okay, let's move for a motion and a second, please.
I motion.
Okay,
Second.
and second by Waldy. It's only fitting. Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Waldy,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Abstain again as I am new.
Okay. Let the record reflect motion passes, 2 absence, Caldwell, Medina, Hernandez. NBHA resolution number 12. Resolution to authorize and approve a contract with AMA Consulting LLC for management consulting services at an hourly rate of $175 an hour and not to exceed $130,000. At this time, I have Mr. Curtis Caudill here. Curtis, welcome. And you want to give a little overview of yourself? Don't take up all the air in the room. I'll have to mute you.
No,
So
that's okay.
give a
Yeah,
little
thank you.
breakdown. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Danny, and thank you to the commission and everybody at New Brunswick. So yeah, my name is Curtis Caudill. I represent AMA Consulting Group. We've been around for well over a decade. We represent a lot of different housing authorities, and have even worked with the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs and distributing COVID funds. One of the things that we are concentrating on right now is, HUD's taking a new direction. So we're trying to help the housing authorities run more efficiently, faster, better, cheaper. A lot of the areas of expertise that we have are in rewriting or making sure that admin and ACOP plans are compliant. We do process mapping to remove redundancies, again, to make the housing authority run more efficiently. We do eligibility and recertification processing and compliance and quality control. Some of the housing authorities we're working with currently in your area, we're working with Newark. We're also at Linden. I know there's the reporter was over at Linden as well. We work with Ithaca on eligibility processing, Grand Rapids process mapping. We pretty much do anything on the administrative side, and we just make it better. I think you're on mute, Danny.
Sorry. Commissioners, any questions?
This is the first time with us, right?
First
Oh,
time with
yes.
us.
That's it.
While you guys are looking for questions, Charlie Cradaville, you still there?
I think he's in the Linden meeting.
Might be somewhere.
All right.
All right, maybe he'll come back later. Any other questions at this time for Curtis?
Well, one thing I like about it is a minority woman-owned company. I think that's a positive thing.
Yeah, we got both WBE and WMBE as well.
I think I spoke with somebody that tabled at FADA in San Diego from you guys as well too.
Yeah, that's possible. We're all over. We'll be
Yeah.
at FADA in Seattle coming up.
Yeah. 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 That name rung a bell, and I thought it was a fantastic service that you guys are providing. So it's timely.
And Curtis,
Appreciate it,
I
Zach.
wanted to add, anytime we have a grievance, like with a tenant, we don't handle that internally. They file it. We would be calling you on that to referee that grievance and make a ruling. Um, and you're considered our independent person, as all the other consultants have in the past. And they have some really good ideas, and they express themselves to the tenant and us. And I want the tenants to feel as though it's not a hatchet job. Like you come in, and I've got my director of HCV who issues um, or the property manager who issues a penalty against them, or a smoking violation, let's say, and they want to have a grievance hearing. It wasn't me, it was so on. I got proof. Well, we have to go to a third party. I can't use my property manager, the same person who did that. So we have that at times. I'd like to have that as a as a weapon for the tenants to use. It's only fair. Why frustrate them more for the situation they got themselves into?
Okay. Yeah, we're happy to do that for you.
Yep, I know you guys do that, so that's good.
Just one more question. How do you see your efforts, with changing HUD regulations, most probably changing the whole management at HUD?
Or yes, and I apologize. Are you asking what direction I see them going in?
Yeah,
Or
and how do you get involved in that?
so that's a good question. I think
Assisting the housing authorities, I mean. Okay.
yeah. Well, right now there's a lot going on at that level, and I do think that some of it does creep into the public housing authority level. I think, of course, they'll be looking at a lot of the larger ones first, but probably also substandards and ones that have low scores. You don't want to be the tallest nail, I think, as this thing moves forward. And I think that there'll be a lot of focus on efficiency, really. Efficiency and compliance.
Right, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Chair?
I have no questions.
Okay. Anyone else? We can move. We'll worry about Mr. Cradaville later. I'm sure he'll jump in if he has to. Okay. So let's have a motion and a second on the approval of this resolution.
Move.
Mr.
I'll
Walden,
second.
second by Giorgiani. Roll call. Chairman Wright.
Yes.
Chairman Giorgiani. Chairman.
Yes.
Sorry, Commissioner Giorgiani. Commissioner
Yes.
Walde.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Abstain.
Okay. Let the record reflect. Motion passes. Absent Caldwell, Medina Hernandez. Curtis, congratulations. Look forward to working with you, and thanks so much for taking the time to present yourself here this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure meeting everyone. I look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you, Curtis.
Mhm.
Okay. NBHA resolution number 13, resolution to authorize and approve Polcari general fee accounting services at an hourly rate of $190 for partners and $145 senior accountants, not to exceed $59,000. He's been with us a long time as well, and he has a good relationship with my new finance controller. And being that my finance controller is a certified public accountant, keeps this guy on his toes. So I can assure you, whatever money he's going to spend, it's going to be scrutinized pretty well, and he knows his way around HUD as well. So I approve of it. Hopefully, you guys do as well. I'll need a motion in a second if there are no questions.
No, seeing none, I motion.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
Second, Giorgiani. Roll call. Chairman Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Walde.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Abstain.
Okay. Let the record reflect. Motion passes on this resolution. Absent Caldwell and Medina Hernandez. Resolution number 14, resolution to authorize and approve a contract with Magic Touch Construction for unit modernization and maintenance repair for $110 an hour, not to exceed $150. not to exceed 150,000.
Questions?
Yeah, I have a question. The auditor as well as Magic Touch and all those guys, we've been dealing with them the last few years. Are there any other companies which bid for these jobs?
There are, and
Okay.
we put it out to other contractors. They have a cookie cutter operation that's second to none. Most of the contractors that I run into are scared of the paperwork, and Curtis is still here. He'll tell you, HUD will kill you on an RFP. It has to look a certain way. The paperwork is scary. Most of these guys, they're small mom and pop shops. Even if they're a little bigger, they don't want to be bothered with all these regulations that HUD asks them to get involved in. It's a very tough process. Curtis, since you're on board now, we pay you. You have any comment about what Commissioner Walde had said?
I mean, I'm just in agreement with you, Danny. The RFP process and the amount of contractors that want to participate in it is a small pool. So.
Yep. I don't want to beat up HUD any more than I think we already have, but you know, they got to lighten up a little bit. So I think that would open up the pool, and it's frustrating to say the least.
But yeah, I think there's some deregulation coming down the pipes, but to what degree?
Deregulation. That's the word of the evening. That is what we're talking about. We want to be deregulated. Awesome. Okay. Any other questions in regards to this topic? If not, I'm going to need a motion and a second on this resolution.
A motion.
I'll make, I'll second.
Chair motion, Mr. Giorgiani second. Roll call. Chairman Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Walde.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Abstain.
Okay, stay consistent. Motion passes, absent Caldwell and Medina Hernandez. Thank you. Resolution number 15, resolution to authorize and approve a contract with Magic Touch Construction for plumbing repair and maintenance not to exceed $116.99. That went up from $2 from last year an hour. This not to exceed as well $150,000.
I motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Giorgiani. Roll call. Chairman Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Walde.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Abstain.
Okay. Let the record reflect motion passes. Caldwell, Medina Hernandez absent. Next resolution number 16 for NBHA, resolution to authorize and approve Magic Touch construction, maintenance and repair for an hourly rate for $100 an hour to $150 an hour for maintenance turnaround unit not to exceed $150,000.
I motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Second by Mr. Dunlap. Roll call. Chairman Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Walde.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Abstain.
Okay. Let the record reflect motion passes. Caldwell, Medina Hernandez absent. NBHA resolution number 17. Resolution to authorize and approve a contract with Magic Touch Construction for electrical repair and maintenance not to exceed $122 an hour and also not to exceed $100,000 in total. Let's be reflective of this. Last year we had Czech Electric beat them out. They did not even apply for it this year. They just wanted to finish out their contract.
Okay.
Okay.
No questions? Motion.
Chairman Wright.
I'll make a motion to accept, or
Okay, second.
the chair did, I'll second.
Roll call. Chairman Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Walde.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Abstain.
Okay. Let the record reflect motion passes. Caldwell and Medina Hernandez absent. NBHA Resolution number 18, resolution to remove former employees from the PNC Bank, Amboy Bank, BNY Mellon Bank accounts and add Anthony Musi, MBA CPA to the PNC Bank account, Amboy Bank, and BNY Mellon Bank accounts. This has to be done through a resolution.
Can you explain why, please?
Mr. Musi, are you there, CPA?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Good, I just got a new microphone set up. The reason why that needs to be done is the bank will not talk to me. If I have a question on what is this charge, I need a copy of the statements or getting access online, they say, well, we can't deal with you because you're not an authorized signer on the account. All this is doing is basically just doing some paperwork, cleaning it up, giving me access so I can deal with the banks and start again getting that stuff in order.
Not tell them, Tony, not all the banks have the same protocol, but these particular ones do. And we had former employees from years ago on there that were never removed. That's not good. So
Okay.
Mr. Musi saw that, he identified it, and we wanted to put that before you.
Okay. That's why I was kind of confused why.
It's important. It's that boring stuff that I do, but it's very important.
All right. Thank you.
Any further questions of Mr. Musi? Chair?
No questions. I motion.
Okay, second,
Second?
Mr. Walde. Okay, roll call. Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Yes.
You said yes?
That
He
was
did.
a yes.
Oh, okay. Here we go. You're on board. Let the record reflect motion passes unanimously. Absent Caldwell and Medina Hernandez. Okay, thank you, Tony. NBHA Resolution number 19. Resolution to authorize and approve a risk manager broker from Alamo Insurance Group. Fee not to exceed, 6% of assessment cost to the JIF. No additional cost to the NBHA. You need to have a broker on file with the JIF. So that's what that's about. And we gave it to Alamo.
I motion.
Okay.
Second?
Second by Walde. Okay.
Yes.
Roll call. Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Yes.
Sir. Heating up. NBHA Resolution number 20. Resolution to extend another 30 days on certain contracts while procurement process finishes at no extra cost. I'm pulling that. There's no need. The reason I have to put that in there is just in case somebody had a problem with any of our RFPs. I didn't want to get caught without that service for the authority. So we put that in there and I will be pulling it. We don't need anything else, so I'll just pull it. NBHA Resolution number 21. Resolution ratifying and approving the revised utility allowance schedule for use in the Housing Choice Program. Something that we have to do. We have to bring it in front of the board. The numbers are essential for HUD purposes and the payment allotment back to us after we lay out the initial cost for public utilities. As you know, we cover the utility costs for public housing individuals. Section 8 gets, or HCV Section 8 gets that allowance factored into their payment.
Motion.
Chairman. Okay. Chairman Wright, motion. Second?
I'll second.
Mr. Giorgiani, second. Roll call. Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Yes.
Great. Let the record reflect, motion passes. Absent Caldwell, Medina Hernandez. Chair, I just want to give Charlie an opportunity if he's there. Mr. Cradaville, you back? Yeah, I guess he's done. Maybe they beat him up in Linden. Who knows? They're tough people up there. I'm just
Tough
saying.
town.
All right. There's no reason to go into executive session. Commissioners, if you guys have any questions at all, Curtis is still here. Tony's here. Please, Alberto's here. Please ask him now.
I'll be out April and May, so I hope make sure
Thank
you
you.
have the quorum.
I desperately need to make sure we get our budget aligned. I missed it by 1 day last year between the accountant and I. We are not missing that because it's such a headache, even though it's just a slap on the hand. I mean, I didn't get our budget approved till like October. There are a lot of rules out there. I have a 5-year annual plan, which I jump-started last year. We have the annual plan besides the 5-year plan. And, Curtis will tell us that they're serious deadlines. They act like it's the birth of a child, but you know what? We have to play that game. And I don't want to go through that again, all the hoops that we jumped through. So we're going to be on it. I need a quorum for April because I want to present it early in case there's anything wrong on our end so we can cure it. I don't want to have to use a special meeting. You guys are great with that, but that's, you guys do a lot of volunteer work. You guys don't get paid for this. And it's on us. It's incumbent upon us as an agency to provide you with all the data ahead of time. And I appreciate your patience with that from last year, but we'll be on it this year.
Yeah. I mean, if you do a special before April 8th, I'll be around, but I won't be around after April 8th.
We won't be able to get all the stuff we have to.
Just want to make sure you have a quorum, that's why.
I will share with you this. We have an interagency local agreement with Franklin. We've had it for some time. The rate's never gone up. We've been very altruistic in that. It's quite cumbersome. That rate is going up this year, and I will have to tell them ahead of time because I need those new numbers. So if they paid us $210,000 to run their agency last year, and that number goes up, that's going to affect our budget, right? So I need to have that number to come to you guys and show you that, listen, this is profitable. We're going to be okay. We're not running a deficit there, and we do a really good job. I believe we do. There always is a chance that they say no. And they want to go out on their own and try to find, an executive director, a staff, and so on, all while HUD's breathing down their neck. So I do have to broach the subject with them, and that's going to be the final piece that I'm going to be able to bring back to you. At worst, it'll be 210. At best, it'll be 420. If it falls somewhere in between, that's good. That helps us out and helps our revenue base out as well. So I wanted to share that with you. And that's about it, Chair. I don't have anything else unless you do.
I have nothing else. We covered all the major points. I move to adjourn.
Great. How about the liaison? You want to ask him anything from the city? Mr. Ferd? No, we're good. Okay.
Do I want to ask? Sorry, I was thinking of AMA. Mr. Ferguson, got anything to add?
No, sir. I'm looking forward to our follow-up on the letter from Witham, right? So
yeah,
Willents,
yeah.
Sorry. Witham Willents. Sorry, I'm thinking of other firms around. So yes,
I got you.
Thank you very much.
Great. Commissioners, anything else? No. Legal counsel, we're good?
We're
All
good.
Right, we're gonna adjourn. And I need a second.
Second.
Well, I got you down with the motion, Chairman. Second by Waldy. Okay, roll call. Chairman Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Waldy.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Yes.
And 2 absence, Caldwell, Medina Hernandez. Commissioner Blevins, thank you so much. Motion passes. Thank you. Welcome. And feel free to reach out to us at any time along this process. You're well aware of the courses you have to take over an 18-month period. We'll help you navigate through there, and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
Thank you, everyone. Good seeing everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.